pelican with some very soft mangoes, a closet full of skeletons and terry cloth kangos.
What is up, you guys? It's Mango Kango here, and today we have kind of a special video, I suppose, considering I haven't made an actual build video in a while. But today we are going to be doing the infamous archway, or the curves. Now, you've either clicked on this video because it interested you, or you've seen these everywhere, so you looked it up, and you know you needed someone to explain how the hell this gets done. So yeah, I'm gonna be here to guide you through every step. I also broke it down into like the easiest way to do this and the cleanest way to do it. As you can see, both sides, it is very, very clean, because the problem I had when I was actually I recorded this video like 3 times. There's things that get complicated, and I try to make each of those complications to the simplest form, and I ended up finding of what I think is a pretty simple way to go about doing this. Alright, so first things first, you are going to want to have some sort of archway to build on, or that you're working with here. Now, what I would say is, if you're going for a 3, which means like the archway is going to be 3 blocks wide, that's a little bit of a different story, but the premise kind of works the same. You just got to work with the angles differently. But I'm here to teach you how to do the double. If you'd like a triple, I can always do a triple in the future, but for now we're doing just the simple double block archway. So you're gonna need the beginning like this, just 2 simple pillars, I guess you could call them for now, and we're gonna need a backside to rebound off of. Now, this doesn't have to be anything fancy. I don't have any right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy 2 extra large walls, and we're gonna place that on the back, just like that. Now, you don't need to recolor these. I will, just for demonstration purposes. Let's just choose like a slightly different color, that way we can tell the difference between the 2 sides. Now, for the next bit, we are going to need signs. Specifically 6 of them is the ideal amount we're going to need. And now you might be thinking, why signs? Well, you can rebound off of signs, but that's not exactly why we're using them. The main reason we're using them is because when they lay flat and you rotate them, they actually curve on the other axis, or the axis. And another item that does this is the map board, as some of you may know, which is what I actually used in this tutorial before, but then I realized that the map board extended a little bit too far past the typical block amount, and it also was really, really hard to work with, because anything that rebounds off of it actually curves at a diagonal angle, which we don't want. So we are going to work with the signs, and I have a very, very simple pattern that we're going to be following. Just keep in mind, you want the text facing towards the wall. Why is this? Well, if we have it facing away, we run into the complication where it starts to rotate the other way, which is not what we want, because we're working with, we need it to rotate, you know, this way. So that's what we need to do. We just need the text facing away from us. All right, now what I think is pretty simple, a pretty simple layout here. We're gonna go 1, 2 from the top, and then down. So about the third of the way, not third of the way, but you know, the third stud down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you can always look where you have your other ones, and now we can go ahead and place our next one, which will be 1 more inward. Now, the only downside is every time you place these, they kind of disappear, which is kind of annoying. So you can always go ahead and pull out the delete button and then place your next object. And then this last one is just going to be 1 more into the wall. So you get kind of this pattern right here, which is a very symmetrical, simple pattern to follow, thankfully. So that's what we're going to be working with here. So now we can go ahead and take our rotate tool, okay? And you're going to want to rotate the most bottom one at the sharpest angle, just like that. Both going the opposite directions. Remember, we need symmetry here. And then the next sharpest angle will be our next one. And then our last angle, which is going to be a slight slant, which should meet about in the middle cross section right there. Okay, that looks very, very good. And now we can go ahead and actually delete our back, because we don't need that to rebound off of anymore. And now we need to place our the actual archway. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to need a good amount of these path blocks to fill in and also be on the bottom, and you want to get off the grid for this, so no grid snapping. Now, it does get a little interesting here, I will note. So when building, you're not going to be able to see the signs, which is the only downside to this. But when you move it and drag it up here, it'll change an angle every face. So when you get that angle that's the sharpest, which would be about right here, you're going to want to go ahead and place that on that angle. Now you can always zoom in to kind of look and check where you're placing things, and you want as much of this kind of in the middle of this right here. So not too high, not too low. And keep in mind, you want those edges to be lined up as well. It is a little bit difficult and pretty tedious, but that's what we want to do. So as that looks pretty good, we're going to go ahead and place it and then move on to our next one, which looks like it's at a very good spot. We'll place that one. And then you'll notice when we get to that third one, it starts to freak out a little bit. Well, why is it not working? Well, it's because for some reason you need to tilt it one more direction, and then it works. For whatever reason, that third rotation needs you to start rotating it again until it snaps into the right position. As to why it does this, I honestly have absolutely zero idea why, but it is what it is. And we're going to go ahead and place our last one pretty much like that. Now you'll notice when I placed these, since I kind of had them in the middle, it allows us to have at least some sort of rebound on all of these different angles. You have segments in between where you can place it on top of there. So just keep that in mind. If that makes sense, then I'm glad it makes sense. If it doesn't, then you will see what I mean in a second. Now we're going to go ahead and do our other side, and you're going to want to start with the top for this, not the bottom, because it creates minor issues for whatever reason. And sometimes rotating it different ways actually allows you to do more of a push into the object. Alright, so that's what we're going to be working with. So we're going to now do our next one, and you'll notice it doesn't snap on, and that's because these two top ones have their own different rotation, like I said, so we're going to need to get back on the ones for the bottom two. All it involves is us pressing R or a rotate button to get back on track. And now instead of going for this one, you're going to want to skip that and go straight to the bottom one, because the bottom one can be kind of hard to deal with if you already do the middle one. So it's just a rule of thumb. Once you build a lot of these arches, you kind of get used to that, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And that's exactly where we want it, and that allows us to place our last one right there. And now we have a pretty much perfect arch. Now we can go ahead and delete our signs. Now be careful, because you might delete one of these, which would be kind of not fun, to be honest, but just keep in mind when deleting these, they're going to be small rectangles, not full boxes. So that's how you know you're deleting the right thing. If they're not small rectangles, you are deleting the big ones, which you don't want to do. Okay, now that we have our archway, we're actually going to want to put back our rebound for our back side. And once you have the rebound on the back, we're going to take two of our triangles, and this is because you don't want these to venture too far outside of the border here, because if we use a full block, it'll stick out the end over here. So I just do this because it's like a lot more simple. So we're just gonna use this and place it just anywhere there realistically works. Go ahead and place this side. And then we're going to want to place some blocks down, will be our next step. And again, rotate it facing downward. Different rotations, like as you can see here, it's giving me a hard time. But if I rotate it down, it's just a different point of rotation. It's just a lot easier to work with. It's not a pain in the butt. So we'll do this, rotate this way, and just kind of get it on there, rebounding, and boom, just like that. So now we got two of the angles, and now the reason we have all this back here to rebound off of is because we need to place our last one, and we'll place it roughly right here because we just need to fill in that. And we can place it a little down too, because actually this works as our last angle, which will be kind of to finish off the cap on the curve. So I'm probably gonna place mine like right there. And then we can go ahead and place our last 2 blocks. Again, with some of these you just want to make sure they're like as good as you can get them to be. Alright, and that's not bad at all. So now we can simply go ahead and get rid of the back, and the back is also done for us. Both sides complete. We can take the color from the sides over here and just color away. And just like that, very simply done, we have our archway. A little bit complicated, possibly. I just think that for me, this was like one of the easier ways to kind of go about making it. It also allows you to give yourself different angles and just is overall, I think, a user-friendly, for the most part, and easy experience, especially if you've had practice doing it or you've built other times before. And the reason I made this video too is because there's so many ways, well, not so many ways, but a good amount of ways out there on how people make these angles. I've seen them done with the map boards. I've seen them done with like posters and like just a bunch of other things, just the blocks, you know, or like doing it manually, just a bunch of different ways to do it. And you know, I thought about it and I thought this was like a pretty simple way to do it. I think it does the job really well. It also makes it very simple to understand, like I said, the angle point of view, or the viewpoint on like how to work with the angles. It allows you to change up the angles, because again, if you place the signs in different positions, you can get sharper angles or less sharp angles. It's just very good visually and appealing to work with the way I did it. I think it turned out really, really nice. But yeah, I hope this made it easier for you if you were having a hard time figuring out how people were doing it, because people were posting it and people had it in their houses. This is how I do it. So with that, I hope you guys do enjoy and have yourselves a good day.